Senator Sanders joins us now. You talk about an oligarchy running the White House. You have billionaires now currying favor with the new administration, donating to the presidential library, the inauguration, making deals with family members of the Trump family. How far are we from a kleptocracy?
Well, let's start with oligarchy, and I think we are there. When you see three of the richest people in this country, the three richest, standing behind the president when he gets inaugurated, when you see Elon Musk, who contributed over $200 million, 270, to get Trump elected, and then becomes in many ways the most important appointee of the Trump administration, and when you see since Trump's inauguration, Elon Musk becoming $150 billion richer in 2.5 weeks, $150 billion richer. You tell me whether or not we are living in an oligarchy.
Elon Musk is worth so much money. To know that his net worth is gained by $150 billion. Would that have happened if Trump wasn't in office? I don't know. The dude makes so much money that his money is making money. So I don't know. I'm really becoming more and more suspicious of the Democrats and the anti-MAGA people. What's really going on here? It's just something ain't right in the air. The black people, I think, are the biggest hint to me. The support that they have and the way they're crying and whining as if all these personal attacks we're inviting this stuff onto us, and it is not directed at us. There's a war going on and we need to stay out of it. And right now we're not doing a good job.
The Trump under Elon Musk will not be to serve ordinary people, but to make the very richest people in this country even richer.
There are probably some people watching who think, oh, Elon Musk, smart guy. He's got these 19, 20-something-year-old tech wizard.
And why are they attacking the 19 and 20-year-old? Elon Musk does have a bunch of young folks who are working on his teams that are going through the government. Maybe this is appropriate. I mean, it cannot be as bad as they're making it, because they're the ones doing it. The Democratic operatives, it scares the shit out of me, and it makes me open up my mind and really try to think this out. And if the younger people are the ones going through the books, and the younger people are the ones auditing this shit, it's going to be their country one day. One day, whether you like it or not, your old asses won't be here. So maybe they need to be the one going through the books. If you buy a car, if you buy a company, or if you buy anything, it's yours and you get to do whatever you want to. And the young folks have that right, in my opinion. I just think the old people need to get the fuck out the way and let the young people do something, because he's up here worrying about a kleptocracy with a country full of kleptomaniacs. That makes no sense. And there's no limit to what they will steal.
Going into government and looking for waste and abuse, and what's wrong with that? What is wrong with what is going on?
Nothing wrong with looking for waste and the kinds of bureaucracy that exist. I think we can do a whole lot to get rid of the waste, the fraud, the excessive bureaucracy that exists in government, especially, by the way, in the Defense Department. What is wrong right now is one simple reality. What Musk is doing is illegal and unconstitutional. You cannot go into an agency like USAID and essentially fire everybody and get rid of that agency.
And Elon Musk must know that the laws in this country are made by Congress, and his party happens to be in the majority. That's why the Democrats are just on the outside of the building whining. It's making no sense. Okay, let's say they do it procedurally. These dudes are stepping back and letting Trump do whatever it is he wants to do as fast as he wants to do it. They ain't trying to restrict him. They're not trying to slow him down. They're his Congress. They're rolling with him. So Bernie Sanders is acting as if they're going to stand up and say, hey, that's our job. We're the lawmakers. He don't give a fuck. If Trump's breaking those laws and they ain't writing his code about it, so what? Let it go on. I want the Democrats to impeach him again or some shit. Want to keep them busy. They got nothing else to do but try to communicate lies to us in the form of or through the medium of the news. That's a terrible thing. We got enough disinformation and misinformation and dumb down people in this country, and they just add to it. A kleptocracy. Do you think we're sinking to a kleptocracy? Let me see. Lobbyists fund the government. All the money they get from us as taxpayers, they appropriate it through whatever legal organizations to get it to their friends and wherever they want it to go. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And they think we're just, I mean, black people, I'm telling you, we're sticking out real bad here. We need to shut the fuck up and quit fighting against this Trump shit because it's making us look stupid. Because it's true, most of the stuff they're saying about him is some truth to a lot of that shit. But when they were in office, where were we? Some slow-moving ass president. That's what we saw. Slow-moving Joe Biden. But behind the scenes, he wasn't moving slow. How come Trump gets in office and things are moving fast all of a sudden? Bullets are not flying. I mean, things are just slowing down. But if I was, the outspoken leader of all black people, descendants of slaves, I'd have a 5-minute press conference and we would be relinquishing a whole bunch of public posts. Trump wouldn't have to worry about no DEI as far as we concerned. We benefit from it the goddamn least. You think I give a fuck if people, the few who made it, quit, get a new job, open up a business? Those are our go-getters, apparently. Those are the ones that the Democratic Party likes. The ones you see in the high positions in the Democratic Party, those are the black people that the Democrats like the most. That's why they're there. So if they like them so goddamn good, they're going to be okay no matter what, aren't they? Like they always have been. Isn't it strange that we just got out of a Democratic administration and now we're blaming in, 3 weeks, everything on Donald Trump? And the man is making some moves, but I mean, come on now. We got to find out if his moves are good moves or bad moves. Every president deserves that chance. Biden got it. He opened the borders up. A lot of people didn't like it. They made the next president win the election. He did a lot of things that a lot of people didn't like. More people disliked Biden than liked him, or he would have been able to give his coattail to Kamala to ride into the White House. She couldn't win because he couldn't win. She couldn't win on her own. She needed something of substance, and Biden wasn't providing that. And Trump, you guys, is basically getting in office, and we should be rubbing our hands together and getting ready, because this is our opportunity as black people to sit down with him and have a talk and find out where his head is at with his anti-reparations ass. I'm sure he is, but you know what? What if he is against reparations like all the other white people in power since we've been released from slavery have been? All of them, 100%. So if that's the case, then why should we even worry about that talk? Why don't we just wait and see if he's opening up financial markets, opening up something that's going to benefit us specifically? Because if it doesn't benefit us specifically, we won't benefit from it. We're the minorities of the minority. We're at the bottom of everything. So no matter what happens, we ain't getting it.
You cannot do that's an agency that was created by Congress. They want to get rid of USAID? Fine. Come to the Congress, make your case.
And USAID was started in 1961 by Kennedy, and it was an executive order. And what Bernie is saying there, that's just not true. And I think they're saying that to mislead people, because there are agencies enacted by Congress, but that one isn't one of them. That was enacted by an executive order, which means it should be able to fall by an executive order. And to be honest with you, is once someone is voted into office, you got to leave them alone and let them govern. And if he's doing something illegal as legislators, do what you got to do, but don't make photo ops and don't be on the news line to people, average citizens who are listening to you and believing that shit to be the truth, because it isn't. As you guys lost and you don't know what to do about it, so the best thing you can do is just lie to your followers so you don't lose them. I wish you'd lose them.
Do it unilaterally. You cannot withhold U.S. funds that were appropriated for Medicaid, for community health centers, for Head Start. You cannot put a freeze on that. That money was appropriated by the Congress.
Appropriated by Congress for overseas use. Let's say Bernie's right. Let's say that Trump is breaking the law by doing this. As a black person, I'm not okay with Head Start programs being funded by our tax dollars all over the world. I'm not okay with hospitals and food and people receiving benefits for nothing. We don't owe them anything. It's very unfortunate the position they're in, but we don't owe them shit, and we shouldn't be funding it. If the United States has that much money, they either need to give the taxpayers back some money, like a refund check of sorts, or they need to get some money together and set $40 billion to USAID. So let's cut USAID to 10 billion a year and make it really work. And if you can't work it with 10, then you can't work it. $10 billion is a lot of goddamn money. Take that other 30 billion and figure out some way to help black people financially. Buy land and start handing out plots. I don't know how to figure it out for you, but that's what needs to happen. Land and opportunities for business. But if you guys are that open to doing it for all these people all over the world, and I know when it comes down to it, you'll bring up Africa and all the building you've been doing over there. But I'd like to see what's really going on behind the scenes. Whenever you guys are in Africa giving away stuff, I worry about that because they benefit the least. Even if you're feeding them for a day or two, once you pull up and get out of there, the food stops. So it would be best if you would find a way to spend a significant amount of money where they can continue to eat after you decide you don't love them no more, or the resources in the land dry up. That's what it's basically coming down to. And we gotta not be that stupid and not let you guys get away with this shit. Fuck that. This time, we gotta be on top of our game, and we gotta walk in there through the front door and have meetings. Some black leader who knows Trump, that could be a rapper shit. That's the bad part about it is, you know, we're relying on the wrong people for that kind of stuff, and they're taking advantage of it. They know we're not united. They notice we're all unorganized and all over the place, and they also know that a significant amount of us will do anything to integrate into their system, even if it doesn't favor us, even if it causes us harm, even if we end up at the bottom of it time and time and time again. Some people don't give a fuck. They still want in there. They want in. Even in last, and they tell you how wonderful it is and how good black people are doing, and we're in last. Imagine if we weren't in last. People would really have a hell of a strong argument, but we're in last in every goddamn category. And all of a sudden, we want to fight for it because the Democrats tell us to.
Fourth grader in America knows Congress holds the purse strings. And what I also worry about is not just the movement toward oligarchy, but this growing trend toward authoritarianism. I hope the American people are seeing clearly that we had the January 6th rioters, the people who were trying to, in a sense, overthrow an election, undermine democracy, contributed to the injuring of 170 Capitol Hill police officers. They are pardoned. And then the FBI agents who worked hard to make the case, doing what they are told, they are now being investigated. What is the future of the FBI? Is the criteria to be an FBI agent in the future one who swears allegiance to Donald Trump?
If I was president of the United States, I would have done that. I wouldn't have thought of it until Trump did. I wouldn't have thought of that shit to do away with the FBI, the CIA, as we know it. Get rid of that shit. If I after looking at this, oh yeah, I do it. I get rid of them because if let's look at it like this. History repeats itself. We all know it does. So let's rewind the clock back to the early 60s. If you were Kennedy, would you have gotten rid of the FBI and the CIA? And if you had, would you still be alive? You know what I'm saying? Did they know? Did they execute? Did they have something to do with his death? Maybe, maybe not. But maybe that's why you get rid of agencies that are even capable of that. As far as the inner workings or the leadership being of the other party, because that's like your office being bugged. That's like you're being eavesdropped on in your own home. I get rid of it because wouldn't Trump look like a fool if he did not get rid of him, and then he gets assassinated, and then there's all kind of little rumors going around? Was it the FBI? Was it the CIA? Did it? Nah, the government didn't do that. And then we just gone. Life is, another one, X on the wall. And it's just been too many assassinations in this country. And there's been a lot of investigations on people who were assassinated prior to them being assassinated by the FBI and CIA. So when you realize that no one has broken any laws and they're being investigated and surveilled like that, then Trump might be doing the right thing. He might be extending his own life by getting rid of these agencies that could be turned on him. He might be doing the right thing. That ain't it could happen. Shit, in the United States, please.
The Constitution and the rule of law. And I'll tell you something else in terms of authoritarianism. And this is something that you and other people in the media should pay attention to. ABC paid a fine to Donald Trump, presumably for saying something that he didn't like. Meta, owned by Zuckerberg, paid a $25 million fine to Trump. Right now, Paramount, that owns CBS, is contemplating reaching a settlement with Trump. He has sued the Des Moines Register. The FCC is now investigating PBS and NPR.
So if they didn't do anything wrong, why are they reaching a deal with them? Isn't that how it goes? Isn't that American law? Isn't that how we roll? Very little shit goes to the court system. The court system is just there to let you know, you better expedite this shit. You better figure and do what's best for you. And if Donald Trump is guilty and they got him, or if he's suing them and it's some frivolous bullshit, why are they worried about it? Just let it go. But they're really just, if he's suing them and they're going to make a deal, maybe he has a valid reason for suing them. Maybe Bernie Sanders is just hating. Maybe they just trying to fool us into believing that Donald Trump is a criminal who just keep getting away with breaking the law. He went through a whole term and he got convicted of something that wasn't bad enough, I guess, to where he isn't our president now. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm really starting to wonder about the credibility of the entire Democratic Party, and if Trump is doing something harmful to us and you guys are the exact polar opposites of him, what are you guys doing over there? You're just angels to us? I don't believe that either, because I don't believe that all of our black politicians over the years have not gotten behind closed doors with what they probably thought was an ally or a person in power that they could confide in, and pretty much laid it out there about our struggle and where we need to go or where we were going to go or what the plan was. And I believe that very many of our black politicians have been frustrated because they still had to face the black America, but yet they're out there representing us and not doing very much. I've been hearing a lot of talk about Trump not having any black people in his cabinet. He didn't pick no black people. I think it might be one guy or whatever. But those congressmen and senators who are black, who really stomp for him, who really go out there and get on national TV and be speaking for Trump, a lot of black people say, see, look at that fool. He didn't even get no job in the cabinet. Look at that fool. He out there stomping for Trump. and it's no different than what the Democrats do. They put black people in those seats. That's why we expect it. What? He didn't pick a black guy and he had a black guy out there speaking for him? Oh, because that's symbolism. That's symbolic. And that's what Biden does. He'll take a black person and put him at the head of this and the head of that and the head of that, or on this board or that board. But he really ain't got no power. He can only get on that board and do what he's expected to do for the entire country, even if it's at the peril of his own people. He's a government official, and you're there for the whole country, not just the black people in the country. This is why I probably need to start advocating more than I already do for us to just not be a part of the government as far as being senators and congressmen and that kind of thing. Police either, none of that shit. If we're going to be police, we need to police our own people and police our own departments and run our own cities, because we love each other. We care about each other. Nobody else does, and it shows. You can't be at the bottom of everything unless somebody is not looking out for you, and somebody is not looking out for us. And we keep expecting the Democratic Party to stand up one day and save us. They're not. They ain't going to save us. They're not here to help us, you guys. They're here to use us to get where they're trying to go. But they are not here for us.
That is a movement toward authoritarianism when you go after and intimidate an independent media. So you add it all together, we're moving toward an oligarchy, we're moving toward authoritarianism, and in terms of a kleptocracy, well, what can I say? Before he got inaugurated, Trump and his wife issued coins. They made billions of dollars. Anybody can give to the president, in a sense, by buying those coins. So the American people are going to stand up and fight back, or else we're going to be in real trouble.
We had a historian, Doris Kearns Goodwin, on last week who talked about Andrew Jackson corrupting essentially government employees, giving out favors to people who curried favor with him. He gave them civil service jobs, and it took generations in America to correct that. And it took Teddy Roosevelt being the civil service commissioner for 6 years to really root that out and get a civil service that served the American people and not whoever was in power. The damage being done potentially, people think, oh, well, maybe it's just going to be 4 years. The damage can be for generations.
Yeah, like every generation of our existence here, the damage that can be done. Do you guys honestly believe that people who get jobs with the federal government, not all of them, but are some kind of ethnic group or deprived or whatever? There is a lot of help and relief for people who meet that criteria. Those are the DEIs. But there's also DEIs, ain't nothing wrong with them. They DEI because they're white women. They're DEI because they're Latino women. They're DEI because they're Asian women. These are groups that do pretty well in the private sector. They do pretty well out and in, and then they come and they take advantage of these programs that really should be exclusive to Native Americans and black people. But I really believe Native Americans are pretty much, I wish we were like that, where you see an Indian and you look back twice, like, damn, you don't see them that often. And that's thanks to the United States of America, unfortunately. But God, it'd be nice to live separate, just so that you know that you're not being put up to dirty tricks and lying to people and using, even when you know in your heart that you feel you're doing the right thing, but then you're really being used, because half the stuff you're out there spitting out ain't even the truth. It's just from the Democrats' window. That's what it looks like. But if you really step back a little further, they got things going on over there, and it's very important that they get back in power so that they can accomplish some of them. And I don't think that we should be we should let them spend the next 4 years winning us back. We should walk the fuck out on them right now, like early in this shit, and not go over there with Trump, but walk the fuck out of that tent and make them come look for us. And when they do, make them come correct. Every black person in this contract, everybody in this country who is black needs to go through their contracts, whether it's a business contract, entertainment contract, and see if it needs to be reworked. And we should have some of our black attorneys helping out as best we can. We're going to have to pool our money together so we can afford these kind of resources, because most people will never be able to have a contract looked over by a neutral party or a third party, or someone who may even be looking out for their best interests, because it takes money for all that stuff, and it takes education as well. We got to learn the business better. We cannot be providing the product and someone else getting paid more for it than us. It's absolutely impossible. And if the money starts getting so big that the distribution for whatever it is we're marketing, even if it's ourselves, is so big that we do need help, then we need to get paid accordingly. Because without us, there's nothing. You can go to hundreds of other management agencies, hundreds of other people to manage your career, your life, or whatever, your business. But when it comes down to that talent, the talent isn't that plentiful. And they treat, and when the talent belongs to black people, they treat them the worst. We end up on drugs, we end up in prison, we end up broke. But then the people who we made rich, they don't. They did what they did, and they do what they do. And we need to start looking out for ourselves in that regard. We got too many gifts, too many gifted people. to not be able to figure something out where we can, within ourselves, step up a level. We ain't gonna be above these white people in a week or two. Trump's one of the fastest moving white people. The wealth gap is probably going to expand. Who knows? But he ain't looking out for us. He ain't even looking at us. He's totally. That's why when he sees black guys and people be saying, "Oh, you racist," this, he gets offended because he really think Mike Tyson's his friend. I'm sorry, Mike Tyson's really his friend. Snoop Dogg, they're really his friends. He really likes these guys. And when people call him racist, he take that kind of personal. And this might be a good opportunity for us as black people to just start acting different. And they'll be wondering, what's wrong with you? You know, when you abuse somebody for so long and they just keep coming back and taking it, we need to not come back once. And they'll look at us and be like, what's going on? Oh, my. Because the Democrats pretty much need us. Without it, all we got to do is start calling them racist, and that'll just ruin them. They ain't got nothing else except they like black people. That's the only thing that sets them apart from Republicans. They don't have no other gifts or talents or anything because they pretty much in lockstep on everything else. They pretend not to be, but that I'm telling you guys, when you think how hard the Democrats fight for abortion, just fight, abortion, and then they think they win because they put it on the books through the Supreme Court in 1973. And then they could. If you can't take that to a level where it can never be touched again, that's why we don't need to be dealing in this government, because we as black people could be, I guess, returned to slavery. Oh, no, that can never happen. People always say that. Oh, no, that could never happen. It would be different. But I'm not beyond the thinking process that it could be attempted in this country. It wouldn't even shock me, because so many people fight for things that don't benefit them, and so many people want things that have nothing to do with them. They just want it, or want to do it, or want to see someone else do it. And I see us getting caught up in that a lot, because we are running all over the place. You can find black people all over the place, and we need to bring it in. We need to get back together, you guys, and not let Bernie Sanders have any of us believing he's any different than the rest of them, because he isn't either. He clearly, out of his mouth, is anti-reparations. He's never said he was, and he never will. And he feels he's such of a good-hearted person that his policies and ideas, if they were to come to pass, we just automatically do good, because no one treats us bad anymore. That's Bernie's opinion.
Right. I mean, it goes without saying that I think the overwhelming majority of Americans want a strong, efficient, independent civil service. We can make improvements. I am not here to tell you that we don't have a bureaucracy, that we don't have waste. We do. We got to work on that. But you don't get rid of thousands and thousands of dedicated public servants.
He keeps referring to these people as dedicated servants, and they might not be. They might really be plants. They're in some high places in the state departments and these government agencies, and they keep these jobs no matter which. And you don't think that it's important to a president, whoever the president might be, if he's given the opportunity to pick someone who's more favorable to his ideas and way of thinking. I would think it would be very naive for a president of either party to appoint someone in a high place like the FBI, and that person be a right-leaning person and you're a Democrat, or they be a left-leaning person and I just couldn't see it, the sense in it. And we act like that we have these dueling parties, but then there's an area in the middle where there's these other Americans who don't see color, and they don't see parties, and they don't see any of that. That's some bullshit. The whole country is divided on something. They on some shit. And when I see guys like Anderson Cooper on here, he is an open homosexual. He's LGBTQ plus community. So with him being LGBTQ plus, and he's on there whining and crying for the Democrats to get back into power, and that the Republicans are so terrible and the Democrats would be better than what the Republicans are. They pay him a lot of money. And in his world, it might not be like it is to most LGBTQ plus people. But he's on national TV, he's openly gay, and he's got a good salary. So maybe he don't see it the same way that some other LGBTQ plus people do. Just like I don't see it like some other black people do. and not because of my status or my position or theirs, but their mindset and the way that we as black people have been kind of operating lately. And it's more pronounced, and to me anyway, because I see more people thinking like they're told to think, and they feel like that's freedom. I don't get it. I don't see how that can even be mistaken for freedom in the most remote way.
Place them with people who are simply loyal to Donald Trump. That's not the way a democracy is supposed to work.
Let me just quickly ask you on Gaza. When you heard the President of the United States talking about turning the Gaza Strip, I mean, getting 2 million Palestinians out, I mean, as anybody who has read history or the region or been watching for the last year, did you think this was a joke at first? I mean, can you believe?
Almost. Look, one could say that, Anderson. On the other hand, given the suffering that the Palestinian people have gone through and the Netanyahu's brutal war, which has killed at least 45,000, injured over 100,000, mostly women and children.
Trump ain't playing. If he could turn that shit into a resort of some sorts and turn it into a vacation land for people, well, goddamn it, it's right next to Israel. That sounds like something the United States would do. Go over there, clear that land out, basically make those people go to whatever country or take them. I mean, and disregard them. They don't mean very much, obviously. And then, build resorts, build homes, extend Israel. Shit, that's what it probably end up being. They're talking about resorts and all that shit. It'll be resorts, but that will probably end up being Israel's land. And then they'll be like, see, we solved the problem. Now there'll be no more fighting. It's just not the answer, But in Trump's world, I see how he could look at that as being the answer. But it just, how do we, where do we go from here? And why do we fight to go back, though? When we know, if anybody want to say the waving the white flag thing that I hear a lot lately, oh, it wasn't perfect and it wasn't good, but it's better than that. Well, I don't know. For some of you, it might be, and it might have been. I don't know. Everybody had their own personal opinion on that one, but I don't think that as black people we were improving. I think we're declining as a race. That's what it looks like to me. However, I see more individual cases, that just are off the charts, as far as black people go. But collectively, we're sliding, and we're sliding bad, and we can't get to thinking like they do about us. Some of them think about us pretty low, and if they let you sit too close to their desk, you might start feeling that way too towards your people, and you shouldn't, because we need to be fought with. Man, all the fighting that we've been doing, we need to bring it on in, guys, and do some more of those old rallies and marches, go picking folks up and organizing, because we're great at it. But you can't organize anymore unless you're fighting for a whole group of other people that don't even really identify with you that well, and then they benefit, and then you're there waiting on the next rally or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. There got to be a benefit for us, or if we're going to get involved in this kind of stuff. And right now there isn't.
The idea that the President of the United States is going to say to these people, oh, by the way, you're going to have to leave the place where you live because we are going to build something equivalent to the French Riviera.
Well, also the thugs of Hamas are still there. I mean, it's not as if they have gone.
Yeah, but even that's right. So, and as you just discussed a moment ago, how do you do that? Are American troops involved? How much money is being spent? But the idea of telling 2.2 million people who live in an area, you're gone, we're going to build the French Riviera here so my billionaire friends can enjoy the beautiful view. It is, to say the least, preposterous. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with Bernie. It ain't going to happen. They're not going to do that, but they're going to do something with it, and they are going to run those people out of there. Once those people are gone, they'll never come back. That ain't going to happen. But I think they're doing it for the security of Israel, and I also believe that he just kind of is thinking about what he don't want to see. But so on Trump's watch, it's going to be different, and he's going to feel like he solved the problem. He's going to be saying that publicly. I solved the problem over there. That's what Trump is going to believe. Kicking people out of their country isn't solving their problem. It's creating more problems for them. Everybody in their family may not even end up in the same country, but it's so sad and so unfortunate that we have to back and support that. The United States and all of the other European, Anglo-Saxon type countries are deep in Africa, fighting over Africa, and then when they come to aid, they're sending our taxpayer dollars to these white countries to prop them up. And believe me, the amount of money that they're feeding any hungry kids in Africa is not even, is negligible. You can't even count it for what they're giving those kids based on what they're pulling out of that country, because we don't go over there for the goodness of our heart. That's one thing we don't do. And I wish we did. If we really did have humanitarian programs and real U.S. aid, I just can't believe the Democrats are talking now like, yeah, there's fraud. Yeah, it's fraud. But, you can't say it's all bad. It's a lot of good stuff, too. So they're just saying basically, nah. That's because what I don't like about the U.S. aid and those type programs is that does make us a kleptocracy. It does make us where our politicians decide what countries they're going to go in and provide this aid to. And the people who own the construction companies or the food organizations or the food bank or the grocery store, or whoever, anything of money that the money comes in, they get their hands on the money first. And the poor people in the country get it last. So there's still some corruption and still some neglect going on, because we can't see it all the way till the money gets to the ground. And we just give the money and then they don't look back, because it ain't like we really care about those people. We're doing it for other reasons, favors and to have land in particular regions, and for the military. Our military is all over the goddamn world. Nobody else have bases all over the world like we do. And they cost a lot of money. And in addition to that, with your military living in particular regions, you want to help the region be nicer for, your military folks. And you probably help folks start businesses, coffee shops, all kind of shit. But if the United States of America, through USAID, can help all these people abroad, then the United States of America should have no problem helping black people in America. And especially because we're in the condition we're in because of the United States of America. That's about, the long and short of it. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.